Don't fuck up. Don't fuck yourself. Don't fuck up and don't fuck yourself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Rude Cooking School Podcast. I'm your host, John Hauser III. And with me again, second week in a row with the greatest shirt known to mankind.
Jeni Paik. Hi, everybody. Are you sick of me yet?
No, that was everyone out in podcast land yelling at once.
And
no!
my shirt says,
yes,
wash your rice, you filthy animal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also wearing a pretty rad shirt.
Really makes a difference.
Pizza Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a serious pizza. It's actually a shirt that Rebecca bought for me when she was in
Nice.
I think in
it's
Texas.
Like a picture of a slice of pizza that like is a cartoon and is like has the white gloves like a Mickey Mouse or something like that. It's a great illustration.
Yeah. He's got the crazy eyes like hi everybody. I'm anthropomorphic pizza. Don't you want to eat
yes,
me?
Yes, you look delicious. I don't know why I have the voice.
It's like why do you make me talk like this, Mr.
I've been
Pizza?
I've been wanting like more food related t-shirts, food t-shirts and brewery t-shirt. That's a hard word. Brewery t-shirts.
Keep saying it. It gets better.
Am I saying it right? In my head, in my ears, it's not right.
Red leather, yellow leather, red, yellow leather. Brewery. It's 3 syllables. Brewery.
I'm going to say it like that from now on, like a weirdo. Brewery. T-shirts.
I don't know is it like, okay, now teach me more Korean words. Shit, I was talking to Jenny and she was rightly so correcting me on my pronunciations of certain foods. And I'm like, I didn't know it was pronounced like that.
Well, I don't get offended either because since you're kind of phonetically translating from a completely different alphabet, it always turns out kind of funky. But it's fun to figure that out for sure.
Yeah, totally. But okay, so I have a few food shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I have this. I have a mise en place shirt that I've actually bought twice because I wore the first one out and I had to go back and get another one. I don't know if I have. There was a point where I was getting a lot of like I had like a hot dog that was a pirate, but also a spy.
I want that.
Shirt.
The weirder, the better.
Yeah, I had one that was like Han Solo cup.
Oh, nice.
And Chewbacca was a cookie.
Pun on puns.
Like Han and I had a couple other, but I don't know. I think I got to get more food shirts too.
I don't have a lot. I have a ton of brewery t-shirts from all over. Like all the places I visit, we always end up going to a place that makes and serves beer. And
that's cool.
And they always have red t-shirts. Like I'm super excited because this weekend for New Year's, we're visiting our dear friends, Leanne and Andy, in Durham, North Carolina. And there's an awesome place that makes its own beer, called Ponysaurus. And their logo is of like a dinosaur / unicorn. Like on its hind legs. It is amazing. Awesome. I already have one of their t-shirts, but it's a little small, so I'm excited. I'm going back just to obviously get some beer, but get another t-shirt. So yeah.
That's cool. A Unisaurus?
Yeah, but it's called Ponysaurus is the name of the brew.
Ponysaurus. Oh, gotcha. Brewery. Ooh,
yeah. Brew. So what's up? Do you have New Year's plans?
What's that? No. I have New Year's plans. I got Christmas plans.
Easy.
Leanna's
How's
still
she doing?
laid up. Yeah.
Good.
She's good. Yeah, she's actually out right now. She's out with a friend having a drink.
Yeah.
Which is good.
That's
to
great.
Get her out of the house. But yeah, no, nothing planned, which is fine.
Don't you guys usually throw a party?
Yeah. We used to. Last year we didn't. We went to somebody else's house. Because it's a lot.
It is a lot.
You know? But because of Leanna's situation this year, we were like, okay, we're just gonna low key everything. But yeah, like we've had parties before, and that was nice. And then you always get that one year where you're like, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to host fucking 20 people in the house, and the house is a wreck when you wake up, and you're hungover, and you got clean. You know?
Yeah. For years, I've just been getting together with like a few friends and staying in and just making good food.
Yeah.
And and like usually we do like grown-up sleepover, bring the dogs, hang out. We don't have to be on the road. And yeah, that makes it easier because I don't like being on the road. Even if I'm not drinking, I don't trust other people on the road. New Year's.
I don't trust anybody driving on New Year's Eve.
Number one night for amateur hour, I feel like. So not messing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. Normally we plan out what we're gonna eat all day on New Year's Day. So, and a lot of times that's corned beef, or hot dogs, chili dogs, which is just chili dogs all day. But I don't know. I think I have to have a talk with my wife. We haven't made the plans yet. Yeah. It's coming up in a couple days. It's
always nice. We always do something special. Our friends Shannon and Kelsey, they have done several times an entire beef Wellington with the popovers and roasties, potatoes, and that's delicious, but I'm not going to attempt that. So this year we're keeping it chill, sort of, and doing all like appetizers, but just over the top, like all the fancy shit. I just ordered a giant tin of caviar because there was a great deal on fucking Costco, baby.
You and the Costco.
Shit, man. Tsar Nicholas Osetra caviar, a 4-ounce friggin' tin for $150. And I looked that shit up, the exact same one online, and it's like $350. That's a deal. You can't say no. Even if you don't like caviar, you have to buy it. It's on sale.
I don't eat a lot of caviar.
I love caviar. I like the shitty caviar. I like the fancy caviar. It's salty, oceany.
I've only had I've only had the fancy stuff a couple times, I think, at specific restaurants. Anytime I've bought caviar, it's a little tiny bit, and it's probably not the greatest. You know, like I'm getting it from Whole Foods or something. I'm not like getting caviar at Safeway. Yeah. Which I don't know if it's any different, but
I definitely am into the accompaniments. Like I have to have creme fraiche. I like a little chive. And our new thing is I love it on the what's the company? But they make the yes, or Ritz crackers. Delicious on Ritz crackers. Not even kidding. I would eat caviar on Ritz crackers.
Oh, I have eaten caviar.
But we like it on the black truffle potato chips. Do you know ones I'm talking about?
Ooh, yeah.
Also, they make the jamon potato chips. It's like the Spanish company, and that's fucking delicious.
That's awesome. Because normally it's blinis, right?
Yeah,
like the little pancakes.
Like, there's no texture in that, and like unless you make the really good buckwheat ones, which are hard to come by, and I'm too lazy to make.
And making 50 pancakes,
tiny
sucks.
little
baby
and
pancakes.
I like the crunch of what do you call it? But we're also making steak tartare, which I'm super excited about, and I'm going a little non-traditional, and I'm going to do pickled green peppercorn, and I'll go a little that direction, but with shallots, a little mustard, but switching up the flavor profile a little bit. And I'm thinking of serving that on hash browns, like frozen hash browns.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My face just made a face.
Think about it, man. It's delicious.
I mean, it's like, I get it. It's kind of like, it almost turns it into like a hashy thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
A lot of times when I get, because I'm a big tartare fan, I really don't like the crostini they serve it with.
It's just like hard and
it's hard to eat. I like it when I've had it when they've done their own toast. Like a good thick slice of bread that's been toasted, like on a griddle, and it's got like a good flavor on, but it's not dry. You know, it's soft in the middle.
I don't know if you've been to Milton Inn yet, up in Sparks.
No.
Cindy Wolf redid it, and it's wonderful. And their steak tartare dish is done just like that, with the toast on top, with an egg yolk and a bump of caviar on it, and it's
the egg yolk. The egg yolk always is the dirty part,
I forgot.
You're like, it's so luscious.
Wait, you like egg yolk, right? Oh, okay.
No, I love egg yolk. Yeah, I'm not Guy Fieri up in this motherfucker. But yeah, it always seems like the overkill part that I'm like,
I have to have it. You gotta have it. So that's gonna be tasty. And then I'm making the infamous foie gras jelly, peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I told you about those, right?
Yeah, I think so. Where you just you take the foie and you spread it. You just make small PB&J, but instead of peanut butter,
and
it's
peanut
foie.
butter. Yes,
and
sir.
Peanut butter.
And peanut butter. Yep. And you
wow,
griddle
that's
the bread
crazy.
in just a little bit of butter, get it nice and toasty. And I actually am going to use this pepper jelly called Bulldog Pepper Jelly. They're based out of Louisiana that I found. And they have a garlic pepper jelly that's fucking to die for. So we're going to go that route. So very decadent. Luxury.
Yeah, dude. Do you know the website Chef Steps?
No.
The app.
What's that?
Or the food channel. They are owned by, I forget who they're owned by, but they're sort of like a molecular gastronomy sort of. They sell their own brand of immersion circulators, and they're great, and their recipes are super duper solid. And like last month, they did one that's fake foie. It's like faux gras, and it's made with cashews.
Oh,
and they took it to like a chef, like a chef conference-y kind of thing, or just had a bunch of chefs come into their test kitchen and weren't telling them that it was fake. And they're like, "How do you like this?" I'm like, "It's fucking awesome." And they're like, "Yeah, it's fake." And they were like, "Get the fuck out of here."
No way.
But it looks really easy. And I'm like, "Oh shit.
Oh my God,
like,
let's make it."
I might try that. Yeah.
That'd be amazing, because
so,
then I wouldn't have to feel guilty about eating foie gras.
Oh, I don't feel guilty about it anyway, but like, it's just how fucking crazy expensive foie is.
Definitely crazy expensive.
A lobe of A is like for fresh foie, it's like $150.
Yeah, it's like I haven't bought any in years.
And you're getting you're using the prepared stuff,
I'm getting the torchon.
Like the terrine.
Not even the terrine, which can be a little like too much filler. I like the torchon where it's just like sauterne. And so it's still pretty like straight up foie gras, but it has a little bit of that like seasoning to it. And I like the torchon because you can just cut it into rounds, and so I don't even have to spread it. I'm gonna cut the bread into rounds too. And
cute.
Little, like little tiny appetizer sandwiches. We're doing the classic shrimp cocktail too, because it's not a party, it's not a special occasion without just straight up shrimp cocktail.
There's something about shrimp cocktail, and I don't know why it seems so fancy. It's it's horseradish ketchup and shrimp. Like,
so good. But I'm pretty proud. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of my cocktail sauce. It's from a very, very old, I think it was a Fine Cooking magazine from probably like over a decade ago, but it's the best cocktail sauce recipe I've ever had. It's the Heinz chili sauce instead of ketchup.
Okay,
Horseradish, of course, and I always add extra. Very, very tiny mince jalapeno. And I take all the ribs out and kind of like sliver the inside off so I can put as much as possible without it getting too spicy. So you really get that like green flavor. And then you grate, not chop or mince, you grate a little bit of onion into it. Preferably a white onion, which is not as spicy as the yellow onion. And obviously a little splash of Worcester, little lemon juice. I love adding a dash of Tabasco, which is weird because I hate Tabasco hot sauce. But
I hate Tabasco too.
It's for some reason it works. It's another level in cocktail sauce that I really like. So I will buy a tiny bottle of Tabasco just to put in my cocktail sauce.
I have a real tiny bottle,
like the single use ones that like you get at the hotel.
Yeah, the ones that come in the MREs. Yeah. That's funny. That sounds good. That's really involved for cocktail sauce. Yeah,
but it's worth it. Because, I mean, isn't half the point of eating shrimp cocktail the sauce? Like, I dunk that shit. Like, it is.
It's a vehicle. The shrimp's just a vehicle for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah. Now I'm hungry. And now I'm like, I gotta plan. I gotta get some shrimp and make my own cocktail sauce for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
How'd your Thanksgiving go?
Thanksgiving and Christmas? Yes.
I mean Christmas. Sorry, my brain's toast.
Christmas was actually really wonderful, even though there was a little bit of a disaster. Our cousins, Kelly and Jesse, who always host Christmas Eve. They're they had a water main break. Their entire block was out of water the entire day.
Oh no.
On Christmas Eve. I felt bad for absolutely everyone. But we ended up getting together at the in-laws' house, and we put together a nice like appetizer grazing type of Christmas Eve dinner, and it turned out amazing. I was already making a charcuterie cheese platter, so we had all of that. I had enough to do deviled eggs. Luckily, I'd just gotten a bunch of eggs, so there was that. And I always have mayonnaise because our friend Sam, when I was over there last, gave me a giant jug of mayonnaise because for some reason she had like a restaurant-style size jug of mayonnaise in her fridge. And I own a restaurant, and I also have giant jugs of mayonnaise, but I was like, sure, I'm never going to say no to mayonnaise.
There's your t-shirt. Yeah. I never say no.
And it was meant to be because I was actually out of mayonnaise. So it worked out wonderfully for my deviled eggs. And Lila made soft pretzels, her famous soft pretzel recipe. Oh, right. Absolutely delicious. She does it the right way in the lye and like boiled, dipped in lye and all of that. And Carol went out and got some shrimp cocktail at her local gourmet grocery store that's in the neighborhood. And and we grabbed some other stuff, and it was great.
Cool. I made the ham. How'd
the ham turn out?
I saw
a picture online.
The ham was awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah, the brine was really good. So I brined it in salt, brown sugar, pink salt. I put some garlic powder, some onion powder in it. Lots of dried rosemary, and pickling spice. Nice. And then rinsed it off, dried it off, let it sit in the fridge overnight after I think it was 3 or 4 days of brining. Took it out of the brine, let it sit overnight to form a pellicle. Gets a little sticky to the touch. Dries out a little bit so the smoke can stick to it. So then I smoked it for like 2 or 3 hours, and then into the oven for, Christ, it felt like forever, like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh, that's...
Because I was just doing it low.
Yeah, that's nice, because, like, I've definitely had some hams that are too smoky, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I don't like... Yeah, I didn't... Once it gets a certain color, I'm like, it's off, you know. Once the skin was kind of blackened, but the flesh was brown, you know what I mean? Like, you could tell. And the skin was super crispy, like all the little chicharron chunks and shit. And then for the glaze, I did... It was cranberries,
orange
juice, orange zest, pepper, onion jelly, and honey, and some brown sugar.
Nice.
Yeah, and then boil that all down. And then took the stick blender and blended it to like a good consistency, and then cooked it down to like a glaze, and then glazed it like 3 or 4 times while it was in the oven.
Stuck to it really well.
Yeah, it was really good. I was really happy with it. The flavor of the ham's amazing. Like,
nice.
So, and we've only had it once since. Normally, we're eating it and it's down here in the basement, so it's like sight unseen. We had parents come in for 2 days, and then it's like, well, let's order food.
Yeah.
And, I made sandwiches.
I'd be snacking on that shit just right off the whole thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's down in the basement. If it was in the upstairs fridge, it would be constantly picking at it. So I gotta take it off the bone and all that shit, and then make bean soup this weekend.
Yeah, and it freezes well. And if you freeze it in individual chunks and just pull it out when you need it.
The ham? Yeah. Cryovac it. Yeah. Note to self: I got to get cryo bags. But yeah, I had that and some green beans. Oh, and then I did
your rolls.
I did rolls, and they turned out great. And then Hasselback au gratin potatoes.
Oh, nice. Classic. So, sounds great.
Yeah, just simple. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It was fun.
And did you do British proper breakfast the next day?
I did. I did. It was a Christmas miracle because the next day, after I talked to you, I was like, fine, I'll do it. And then I called my connection. I have a lady who gets me my blood pudding. She was sold out, and I was like, damn, I should have, we just won't have the blood sausage. And the next day she called me on Saturday.
Ooh.
And was like, I missed one. I have a couple here. And I said, I'll take 2. So
nice.
Now I got one in the freezer. So got a spare. So yeah, we did the whole thing. My mother spent the night. I was up till 4 a.m. putting together Crosby's drum set. And then woke up that morning and made the breakfast. I was exhausted. But it turned out great. Like, the tomatoes and the blood pudding and the bangers and real American bacon, because fuck their bacon.
Yeah.
The beans and the English muffin and it was the eggs. It was great.
The tradition lives on.
Yeah, one more year we did it, guys. But yeah,
no. Every year I'm gonna hold you accountable.
I know.
I'm gonna keep your tradition alive.
Thank you. Somebody's got to do it. My lazy ass isn't gonna do it. But no, I was glad we did it. It was definitely like, oh yeah. And it every fucking time. Every time I eat it, I say the same thing. Man, why don't we eat tomatoes with eggs more? Yeah. It's such a good combination.
It's so good. I don't know why I don't do it either. I think that too every time, which is not that often when I have the full English.
And I just got the little tomatoes that you can buy now on the vine, right? Those little, they're like about
the little sweet ones.
Yeah, under the size of like a baseball. You just cut it in half, grill the cut parts first till they got color, flip them, salt them, and then just let them go until they sort of collapse on themselves, where you can tell they're cooked all the way through. Done. It's so fucking easy, and it's so good.
And you could be lazy and like, shit, put it in the toaster with your toast or broil it.
Yeah. I mean, I've done them before. Because we were having a bunch of people over, just cut them all in put them in like a 13x9 pan and then just put it under the broiler. You know, or perfect. Put it in the oven for a while I'm prepping everything else and then broil it at the end and you're done. But the combination, it's the umami in the tomatoes. I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah, it's shocking how well that comes out on a simple, like, grilled tomato.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like ketchup with your eggs. I don't know. I'm a ketchup with your eggs person.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, well, with scrambled eggs, not with fried eggs. Fried eggs, it's hot sauce. Scrambled eggs, it's ketchup.
Okay. I do ketchup every now and then, you know, just to, throw a wrench in things sometimes. But it's just crazy. I'm just sitting there and the beans. Like it's so good because the beans are tomatoey anyway. But,
it's like, why don't we do full English all the time? Like, why does it have to just be Christmas?
Because we would weigh 8,000 pounds.
Oh, that's
true. It's 8 million calories on a plate.
Yeah,
but
I mean, so is an American style.
Oh, without a doubt, I don't eat that.
Sometimes. Like a diner breakfast.
I don't eat that shit either. I just eat
that's true.
Eggs and maybe a piece of sausage. Maybe.
Yeah, I've been on an oatmeal kick.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, but I made my own mix of like instant oatmeal, freeze-dried bananas and strawberries.
Okay.
And some peanuts, but next time I think I'm going to go almonds. And then I make a mix of, cuz I have like a shit ton of quinoa.
Okay.
Cuz poor George, our dearly departed George, may he rest in peace. We made him his own food because he had like issues,
right.
And part of it was quinoa. So I had like 2 5-pound bags of quinoa that I'm just like stuck with. And so I cook that off with a bunch of honey.
Okay.
And I keep that in the fridge, and that's what I use to like sweeten my oatmeal and add a little more fiber with the quinoa. And it also tastes like nutty, so it's really nice with the oatmeal.
Okay.
So that's been like a little healthy breakfast thing that I've been doing, and it's friggin' delicious.
That's what Crosby and Lena eat most of. I don't eat breakfast normally. I just don't. Like I don't eat until like 12 or 1. Like I don't eat until it's like lunchtime.
That's what I used to do, but I've been trying to be a little bit better, and I realize I make better decisions, eating decisions during the day, if I eat breakfast. Even though I get hungrier faster when I eat breakfast because I guess it gets my metabolism going.
That's why I don't.
Yeah, but I feel like I make better decisions when I have breakfast.
Makes sense.
So I'm a little bit on a taking care of myself kick.
Hey,
so
awesome.
Yeah,
I make oatmeal for them. I use rolled oats and pinhead oats, and then
nice
brown sugar, a little bit of milk, a little bit of water. Do it that way, and then they add whatever they want to it. It's sometimes they add granola. For Crosby, it's just a little maple syrup or honey.
Yeah. Dude, dehydrated strawberries are friggin' delicious.
That's a good,
and they're better than regular strawberries because regular strawberries are never in season. They don't taste good. They're expensive. But the dehydrated strawberries taste very strongly of strawberry. And there's no like sugar added. And they get really tasty and make the whole bowl taste like fresh strawberries.
Interesting. Okay. I'll
highly recommend.
I'll do that. And you just add it in at the beginning?
I make, because I'm like kind of busy in the morning, so I make it as easy as possible. So I just make a whole mix of in a big old jar, and then I portion it out when I'm eating it. So I mix in my nuts, my dehydrated strawberries, dehydrated bananas.
I got you.
In with the oatmeal, so it's all dry.
So you're making your oatmeal a la carte.
Yeah,
like per bowl. You just gotta mix, and then you just make a bowl up when you need it.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. And
I make a big.
It's good, and then I put like a healthy pinch of salt in it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
like
key to oatmeal.
Yeah,
People
that
don't
helps.
Realize it.
It's not good without it. Yeah.
I just make a giant pot of it, So, okay. So when you're rehydrating the instant oatmeal, you're hydrating. I got you the strawberries.
Yeah, okay. I add a little milk. You can add water, whatever you want, and I pop that shit in the microwave, man, and it's perfect. Yeah. So I can like have breakfast ready, in and out, eat it in like 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
Like tops, with my coffee in the morning, and I feel like energized.
Nice.
I don't feel heavy, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, and also I usually throw in some frozen Wyman's Maine wild blueberries, which are the best pretty much the only frozen blueberries I will eat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't like fresh blueberries unless they're like in season and like freshly picked, because they just taste like sour blueberry water.
Yeah, they don't taste.
They're never good.
No. When you pick them, they taste great. Yeah.
Yeah, and when they're ripe, but they're not picked when they're ripe, and then they, probably travel for weeks and weeks to get to your local grocery store. But the Wyman's brand Maine frozen blueberries are the shit.
Okay, I'll check them out if I see them.
Yeah. By the way, Costco, I don't work for them, everybody, but Costco has the giant bags of them for really cheap because they're super expensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like the little bags. Yeah, like a little bag is like 15 up plus dollars, but they have the big bags at Costco. So
yeah, I'm a BJ's guy, just because it's close. Just because it's close.
Yeah.
So I'll see what.
I go to that.
I'll see what their equivalent is.
They might have it. They have a good selection of certain things. Because I own a store. I have a membership to Costco, Sam's, and BJ's.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
because they all got different stuff.
They all have different stuff that I'm looking for that sometimes is cheaper than from my distributor.
Okay.
Like I get people love the Hillshire Farms smoked beef sausage. It's like a kielbasa, and it's really hard to find the all beef ones. They have like the pork ones everywhere,
which I think are better, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, but like my customers, they want like a beef option. Sure. And we actually we sell it like on a hot dog bun, but a lot of people like it split on a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I feel like that's a Baltimore thing, like smoked beef sausage, egg and cheese.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Crosby loves...
very specific.
He's obsessed with kielbasa and having it with breakfast.
Yeah. But like here... I feel like in the city here, it's either the Hillshire Farms brand, which is, I think, the best, or like the Eckridge brand, which is not that great. Yeah. I don't like it. But there's only one place that I can or two places I can consistently find the beef version, and that's at BJ's and Sam's. Like none of my distributors can get it for me. They can get me the pork, but not the beef.
It's weird.
So, yeah. But like, it's great. And like, I do spend enough money at all the places that I'm not really paying for my membership because I get money back every year that pretty much pays for the membership plus,
yeah, sure,
cash. So it's worth it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to get into the Christmas part or Christmas time, the holiday food section?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. Tell us about old-timey Christmas.
I'm going to have to blow through this.
All right.
So Christmas foods, by the way, everyone, this is like holiday food, Christmas food time. We were supposed to get into this last week, but we just bullshitted the whole time. And we're already 30 minutes into this episode. So, I'm going to run through this pretty quick. So Christmas foods are included virtually in all Christian countries or communities for the main meal on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, which in turn incorporates a main dish, which is symbolic of Christmas. This main dish is liable to change. Over the years, it was goose for years. A lot of this first part has to do with Europe. It was really, the tradition was goose in the 19th century, up until the 19th century when turkey started to take over. So now, over in England, turkey's a big Christmas Day thing, right?
Yeah.
Also with Christmas puddings, they can be traced back for many centuries, but which in its present configuration and status can also be counted as mainly a product of the 19th century. Like, people would make Christmas puddings just kind of here or there, but it really became popular with Dickens. Dickens made like Christmas pudding like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dickens actually has a really big change on Europe in terms of like what they eat at Christmas dinner, like the big thing.
Yeah.
The turkey's a big one because he's like, hey boy, go get that turkey hanging in the thing. So like that had a big
he started the fads, the trends.
Yeah,
for Christmas.
It's crazy, right?
Are all his books set during Christmas or just the
just
Christmas
the one,
Carol
I think.
one? Yeah.
Yeah. And that was from what I remember reading about that was actually it was in a magazine throughout like a couple weeks. Like it was like periodic.
Okay.
And then it was so famous, then they collected it to a book.
Nice. What's your favorite version of the Christmas Carol?
I like the George C. Scott one.
Which one's that one?
From 1970.
Oh, the old one.
70,
Yeah.
75. I like the Alastair Sims one every now and then, and that's from like 1930. I do like Scrooged. We did watch while I was making Christmas dinner. The family watched a Muppets Christmas Carol, which I'm a big fan of.
That's the one. Yeah, my favorite, hands down.
Yeah. So in other countries, it's possible to observe similar evolutions of food, although what is subject to change might be different. Like a carp is a favored delicacy in Scandinavian families,
like
rather than
fish?
A bird. Yeah, like you get a big carp.
Okay,
isn't that weird?
It is very weird.
I mean, it's not weird. It's just their thing.
Okay.
They just get
they like their weird
carp.
Fish.
It's true. They like their weird fish. What is, however, relatively common ground and relatively unchanging is the seasonal frenzy of baking in most European countries, as households make a stock of special foods for the Christmas period. Mention of the Christmas period is highly relevant because although Christmas is taken to mean Christmas Day plus perhaps Christmas Eve, and then what they call over there Boxing Day in England, which is basically the day that everybody returns their presents. Its more extensive meaning covers a long period, beginning with the Advent calendar in early December and then continuing to Twelfth Night, which is January 6th. So, if you're not familiar, Twelfth Night is the last day of the 12 days of Christmas. So, remember we talked about the birds and the people and the rings and the tree. Mm-hmm. So that's actually like
328 birds. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So 12 Night starts and then ends on January 6th. So there's a longer period of time because here Christmas season's pretty much everybody's kind of like done.
2
right?
days. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's like, all right, now it's time for New Year's. Like over there, they stretch that shit out and keep it going. So many of the bakery products, such as English mince pies, Scandinavian ginger biscuits, the German Lebkuchen, are indeed consumed throughout the season. Other are kept for specific days, which vary from country to country. In the Netherlands, Germany, and Central Europe, the 6th of December is St. Nicholas Day. So, as is the 13th of December, it's St. Lucy's Day in Sweden. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in Britain, the U.S., France, Southern Europe, all this stuff. They got the Epiphany. There's the, there's all kind of just like dotted little Catholic Christian holidays.
Yeah, I was going to say they're more the religious part of it.
Right. So, and it's all based around Christmas. And although Christmas is supposed to commemorate the birth of Christ, a number of important pagan festivals which took place at midwinter have also been incorporated into the Christian.
Well, they did
or
that on
just
purpose,
celebration. Yeah, of course,
to help convert the pagans to Christianity and make it a little easier for them.
Right.
They chose to kind of
without a doubt
time that together.
And as we'll find out, like the birth of Jesus has nothing to do with his actual timeline, because So the Epiphany is January 6th. It's also the end of Twelfth Night, and the Epiphany is when the wise men were supposed to have gotten to Jesus. So like that's a thing. So it's all based around that. But we'll talk about his birth, and because there's another like a holiday feast day or whatever that sort of screws the timeline up. All special breads made for Christmas involve doughs mixed with quantities of butter, sugar, and eggs. Many are spiced or flavored with lemon zest and further embellished with nuts and dried or candied fruit. Really? You don't like dried or candied? You don't like
fruitcake?
Fruitcake and shit?
No.
Really?
Too sweet. Yeah, it's like adding extra sweet bombs to an already sweet cake.
I like it if someone makes it at home and then just... Have you ever heard the term?
Ages it for 10 years?
Yeah, like calling it feeding the cake, where they make it like a month.
Keep adding booze.
Right, they keep adding booze to it over the like period of like a month. So you make it ahead of time, and then every other day you add more booze. And that kind of dulls out the super duper sweet stuff. Plus, normally if someone makes it at home, it's not as sweet as some of the bullshit you get in the store. Not
worth the calories for me, though. Like, I'd rather have a donut. I would 100 times out of 100 times choose a donut over a fruitcake.
I always get a fruitcake, and I'm satiated by the one piece of it that I eat. And then I wind up throwing the rest of it away because I'm like, okay. I just had a craving for that one little piece.
Yeah. You need to go find where they sell it by the slice.
Yeah, exactly. In Switzerland and Germany on St. Nicholas's Day, the saint is thought to reward good children with sweets, but punish bad ones with a switch. In the Netherlands, his role...
What's a switch? They beat them?
Yeah, they beat him with a stick. In the Netherlands, his role is to deliver presents to children. For this day, Swiss bakers make... Oh, here we go. Weihnachtsmanner and Gritty Banzen.
Perfect pronunciation.
Thank you. The first one, though, Weihnachtsmanner is Little Father Christmases, and the Gritty Banzen are like little dough men, shaped from lightly enriched dough. They range from simple figures with currant eyes to ones carefully dressed in fringed scarves and jackets and walking sticks. Gingerbread and honey cake mixtures are also made into men for autumn and midwinter festivals through most of Northern Europe, including Britain. There are no record of these having been made in the Middle Ages, but some people conjecture that they represent the winter god and refer to gods modeled in dough mentioned in the Norse sagas. So they think that's a thing that they've incorporated again over the years, just taken like, okay, you can still make your Odin and Thor and, Loki men, but now they'll just be Father Christmas. So, on the day of the Immaculate Conception, which is December 8th, there's the day. So the Immaculate Conception is December 8th, but Jesus' birth is commemorated on December 25th. So either she was pregnant very short or very long.
Yeah. I mean, she was knocked up by God, so I guess the timing might be, sped up a little bit.
I actually did look into it, and she had a normal 9-month gestation. Apparently, according to the Bible. But so, yeah. So if he was if he was conceived in December, his actual birthday would have been sometime in September, probably, right? 9 months?
Mm-hmm.
September or August. So the inhabitants of Madeira bake their bolo de mel for the upcoming Christmas. It's a honey cake, but now they use molasses. I was like, oh, that sounds good. And I looked up the recipe, and none of the recipes have honey in it anymore. It's all molasses. It's heavy with walnuts, almonds, and candied peel, and leavened by a piece of dough from bread baking. Any honey cakes left from the previous year are eaten up on this day, which I don't understand that.
So it's aged a year?
I don't know.
So you always eat last year's and then prepare the next year's honey cake?
Why would you want to do that?
That doesn't sound good. What is it with Christmas and these old-ass cakes?
I don't know, man. I don't like old cake. In Sweden, St. Lucy's Day is celebrated with rich saffron-flowered buns. The dough is mixed with fruit, candied peel, and almond and shaped into little plaits, crosses, and buns called luskater. St. Lucy's cats. That's nice. She had cats. Traditionally, one of the daughters of the house gets to prepare a breakfast of these buns and dresses in a long white robe with a crown of lingonberry twigs and lighted candles on her head to serve them. That sounds very dangerous.
And then she catches herself on fire.
And then the beautiful smell of burnt lingonberry and hair. Child's hair and lingonberries. They should make a candle of that.
Yes.
As the season progresses, other breads make their appearance, especially on Christmas Day. In England, the traditional Christmas cake, a rich fruit cake, has largely usurped the place of sweet, spiced, and decorated fruit breads. These cakes, round and covered in marzipan and a thick layer of royal icing, are made well in advance. Those kind of cakes that are real rich and heavy, those things can take age. You know what I mean? But light cakes that are like really doughy, they just go go downhill quick.
What is it? It sounds like it would turn into a paste.
What?
Like a light cake aged for a year.
No, it would just be dry. It would just be dried out.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Like think of those.
I'm thinking it like being refrigerated and like moisture accumulating, but they're not. They're just left out in a tin or something.
I guess.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know why the honey cakes are left from the previous year. So, yeah.
It's a mystery that I don't need the answer to.
Yeah, I'm good. Breads have also been replaced by rich cakes in France, where the bûche de Noël, which is one of my favorite, a roll of light sponge cake covered in chocolate or coffee buttercream texture to resemble bark, and it's usually filled with some sort of buttercream or something like that. Those are so good.
Light and fluffy.
Yeah.
And I love it when they do, this is probably more modern, but they do the meringue mushrooms.
Yeah,
garnish.
Those are good. Those are cute.
Oh, that's always the best. Yeah. And they're adorable.
They are adorable. And actually really easy to make. Like, yeah, it's just a sponge cake, and then you put the thing on it, roll it up, cover it in chocolate, and you can make it as messy as you want because it's just supposed to look like tree bark. Christmas breads are part of this celebration in Scandinavia. The Danish Julekage is a Christmas fruit loaf, lightly enriched, kneaded with candied fruit, and flavored with lemon peel and cardamom. That sounds good. And candied fruit. Julebrod is a Swedish name for a similar loaf. Various kinds of coffee bread and wienerbrød, Danish pastries, are baked in special Christmas shapes such as stars. These share a table with a plethora of Christmas biscuits, we would call them cookies, such as pepperkaker, which are ginger snaps, and peppernotter, which are ginger nuts. Hey, my nuts. The Norwegian kransekake, which is a garland cake made from marzipan with a mixture of ground almonds, icing sugar, and egg white. Gently heated, this is made into rings in gradual sizes. Up to 14 rings may be made, for which they also sell special tins. Central Europe provides a wealth of bread. Some, as the Kugelhof, are made throughout the year. Hutzelbrot. They all sound like Dr. Seuss characters. Kugelhof went to Hutzelbrot's house and they heard a who. A heavily fruited and spiced cake is sold at the Advent markets, which are popular features of Christmas in Germany. Swiss Christmas Bernbrot includes Kirsch in its spice pear filling. That sounds interesting. Spice pear filling for a cake? Yeah.
And Kirsch? Yeah. That sounds better.
Yeah. Which is lightly encased in a sweet and rich dough. Tannenzapfen. I said that wrong. Tannenzapfen. There it is. Tannenzapfen, which is a pine cone cake.
Sounds like a metal band.
Yeah. Dude.
From the 80s.
I got the new Tannenzapfen. It's a Swedish death metal. It's a Swiss Christmas specialty. That's weirdly hard to say. It's made of a thin layer of sponge built up into the shape of a pine cone lying on its side, covered in coffee-flavored buttercream and stuck all over with toasted almonds to resemble the German Christmas breads. So, yeah, interesting.
Nice.
Planters Stolen are also made. These are, and I've had these before, they're aniseed flavor.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, they're nice.
Oh, I think I've had that before. It's like crispy, like flaky.
Yeah, it's like a big cookie almost.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture of a cookie and a little just hand cake almost.
I feel like Trader Joe's had them.
Yeah. And they're
1 year. Yeah. And they were good.
German and Swiss bakers have lightly enriched doughs into intricate plated shapes, such as the Weihnachtstopf. I fucked that all up.
No, it was perfect.
Weihnachtstopf. A straight plate with dried fruit or crown, wreaths, and stars for Christmas and New Year's displays. The plaits are originally to represent women's hair cut off in sacrifice as part of a mourning ritual, a custom observed throughout much of ancient Rome and Europe and Greece, as well as Germanic tribes. They're also very decorative shapes to show off the baker's skill. That's crazy. It's like, oh, let's eat this bread to resemble the hair that some widow cut off. Yeah. Baking is somewhat less important in Mediterranean countries where nut and sugar confections such as nougat sustain the sweet tooth. However, the principal Italian festive bread, panettone, is on sale everywhere at Christmas. Panettone is the biggest crock of shit ever. Have you ever bought one of those?
I've never had a good one.
Never had a good one. I think it's totally the case where you gotta make it yourself.
I feel like fresh should be good, but like it's always comes in that very pretty box, but like God knows how long it's been sitting.
Those things have been sitting in a fucking warehouse for months by that point, right? Like,
yeah.
And maybe I'm missing.
Always dry.
Maybe there's something you got to do to it that I'm missing. You got to spritz it with something or bake it. I don't know. They're always. I bet
it's good. Like maybe to make French toast or something out of. I feel like the flavor's not bad. No. It's just dry. It's just dried out.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend who was Italian, and her family would get those fucking things. They were terrible. No matter what brand they got, it was always dry, and everybody would act like it was good. I'm like, this isn't good at all.
Again, what is it with the Europeans and their old ass cakes?
Christopasmo. Christopsomo. It's a Greek Christmas bread. It's got aniseed flavor again, and it's marked with the Greek cross, which is a plus sign. It's equal. It's not tall at the bottom.
Okay. So it was for short-legged Jesus.
Yes. It's short Jesus. The Frenzel Christmas galette or fagasse called pomme de huile is akin to other hearth breads, but it's made with a sweetened dough. Have you ever had a fagasse? It's it's like a big it's like a big oval, and they cut the holes in the middle of it, and it looks like a big leaf. It's just a shape.
I've I've seen that.
It's like a French bread shape.
Had one. Yeah.
The church celebrates January 6th as the day of Epiphany, on which Christ was shown to the kings. This date is also 12th night, the last day of Christmas. It has inherited some pagan customs associated with Roman Saturnalia, and its cakes are of such interest that they have separate entries. 12th night cake, galette des roses, they have their own thing going on, so we're just gonna kind of skirt past that.
Just another category of old ass.
Yeah, exactly. Let me go. So like traditional baking aside, many communities have ritualized meals to punctuate the Christmas season. Catholic countries, for instance, had fasting suppers on Christmas Eve in run up to midnight mass. None more elaborate than that of the Provence, France, where the super mangre may consist of aioli with snails or salt cod, a salad of bitter herbs, and a vegetable soup and lasagnas, similar to it's called vegetable soup de lasagnas, which is similar to an Italian minestrone. Salt cod is ever present in Portugal, and for the Tuscan white supper, there's also like the Italian feast of the seven fishes, right?
Seven fishes. Yeah. Which I have never partaken
neither
in,
have I.
And I would love to sometime.
So would I. Maybe we do that next year.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, the pre-Christmas festivities extend back to December and encompass a series of 9 dawn masses. And after each of these, there may be a buffet of rice cakes, such as bibingka and ginger tea to drink. But the Christmas Eve tops them all. They get a roast pig, a very common Christmas meat where turkey is not a favorite, as the centerpiece. The Christmas Eve meal after that, rather than before midnight mass, is a feature of Mexican life as well. Salt cod is a frequent choice, so too in turkey in mole sauce, and a mixture of fruit and jicama. Yeah, turkey and mole sounds fucking awesome.
That sounds amazing.
For most American Christmas, it rivals Thanksgiving for its indulgence, which a lot of people do that. We don't do that. I grew up with Christmas being sort of a side dish, like pick it, not a big centerpiece thing, which, I did the ham this year, but it was just a light dinner. But when the family's involved, there's never like, okay, everybody, here comes the pig, or it's always like there's just a bunch of side dishes and appetizers that you just pick at all day.
Yeah. Growing up, we always had a ham and a turkey for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. Wow. And pretty much the meal was exactly the same with all the traditional sides and stuff like that. Maybe for Christmas, we didn't have like the sweet potato dish or the cranberry sauce, but there was always kimchi. Nice. Kimchi goes amazing with turkey and ham.
It does. Ooh, with ham.
But other than that, it was like the same dinner. Okay. Both holidays.
Yeah.
Which is great. Plus, we would have the sausage with sauerkraut in the crock pot.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because you have to.
Yeah. Yes.
So, unlike Thanksgiving, however, Christmas is more of a single meal. Specialty Christmas foods permeate the month-long holiday season. Titles such as Old Fashioned Christmas Cookbook and 12 Days of Christmas Cookbook recall Christmases past. And gingerbread men, plum pudding, and cookies are part of that culinary tradition. Homemakers have covered Christmas tables in red and green since the late 19th century, and holiday dishes bearing the image of Santa Claus or evergreens have been marketed since only the 1930s. Like, people don't realize Santa Claus was not a thing until basically Coca-Cola made him a thing.
Yeah, and the commercialization of Christmas started with the presents and the shopping and all that.
So this is where it gets fucking crazy, and how America, as usual, can out-crazy the best of them. So all of this would stun a time traveler from the early 19th century, when Philadelphia's Democratic press asked in 1810, quote unquote, "Shall we have Christmas?" The question was not merely rhetorical. The answer depended on one's religion and ethnicity and ranged from a resounding no through modest acknowledgement of the day to patchwork of holidays. Starting with the feasts of St. Lucy and St. Nicholas in early December and in continuing to Twelfth Night, many disparate threads have now been woven into a season-long Christmas mantle. Yet it was only in the mid-19th century that December 25th became a widespread governmental sanctioned holiday. At that same time, a formulaic Christmas dinner swept the nation that would last through the end of the 19th century, only to fade in the 20th. Unlike the American Thanksgiving comestibles, which anchor that singularly American holiday, regardless of one's ethnicity, there's nothing originally American about Christmas except Santa Claus and candies. Christmas's multicultural roots have meant that Americans of different regions, classes, and ethnic groups celebrate with different foodstuffs. So it's not like over in Europe where they have hundreds of years of traditions. Like, they came over here and was like, we're not doing any of that old bullshit. Fuck it, Europe. And then Christmas kind of went away, right? So this is Christmas before the 1840s. English, Dutch, and German colonists approached the December holiday differently. Even among the English expatriates, attitudes towards Christmas varied accordingly to religious sect. William Bradford, The Puritan governor of Plymouth County in 1621 chastised non-Puritans on their revelries on that day to, quote, the day they call Christmas Day, because nothing in the Bible identified the 25th as Christ's birthday. Puritans...
Also, how dare you have fun?
Yeah, because Puritans viewed the date as simply just another work day. There were no special foods, church services, or commemorations. An attitude shared by many Protestant denominations well into the 19th century. Puritans rallied against mincemeat pies as idolatry in a crust. The spices in the pie were believed to signify the...
That makes it sound more delicious to me.
Sacrilegious. That's a Homer Simpson joke, by the way. The spices in the pie were believed to signify the luxuriously exotic gifts of the Magi and to evoke popery. I don't know what that means. I guess because they don't like the Pope. From 1659 to 1681, it was illegal to celebrate Christmas in Massachusetts.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
Puritanism, the religion of being fucking depressed and making everyone also be depressed.
Thanks for ruining America to this day still. So it was illegal to celebrate in fucking Massachusetts. There would be a 5 shilling penalty for doing so. Analogous penalties were threatened against Dutch colonists who celebrated St. Nicholas Day on September 6th. In the 17th century, the Reformation government in Amsterdam tried to squelch the perceived disorder that arose from people congregating in public with any kind of candy, eatables, or other merchandise, unquote. Most of the early Dutch settlers in America celebrated non-religious New Year's Day with open houses, but were only pockets of private St. Nicholas observances. So fucking, dude, everybody... they moved to this fucking country for quote unquote religious freedom and then instantly fucking start browbeating everybody who's not the same religion. Fuckers.
Shocking.
Yeah. Some early colonists in America did welcome Christmas. In the 18th century, German colonists in Pennsylvania brought branches, the precursors to evergreen trees, into the house and then decorated them with wafers, honey cakes, gingerbread cookies, apples, and marzipan. Descriptions, including criticism from the Quakers who shared the Puritan attitudes, abound from Philadelphians. Extravagant early 19th century Christmas balls. They were elegant collations fortified. They fortified their weary dancers with cold meats, terrines, oysters, and a pyramid of sweetmeats and creams. Sweetmeats always sounds super gross. Just the way they wrote shit, it's fucking crazy. The celebrations were lavish, but the food served were not distinctly associated with Christmas. They were just like, let's get all the fancy, get all the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
Southern colonists were largely Anglican, with a few French Huguenots. Their Christmas festivities focused more on revelry than on food. Oh, surprise! The French want to drink. The Christmas hunts and game became the main entertainment. Outdoor parties adorned to plantation homes for copious dinners, but these were, quote, no otherwise than common, unquote, given the luxurious standards of the households. In 1709, the guests of the Virginia governor William Byrd II sat down to a typical Southern spread of turkey and chine. I don't know what chine is. I looked for it to figure out what the fuck that was.
Yeah.
No idea. Roast apples.
So Christmas was for the rich, was for the wealthy.
Well, we'll get into it. Kind of. So they get turkey, roast apples, wine, tongue, and udder. I guess they ate udder. Ooh. That's a thing. Yeah. Yum. Unquote. As well as other meats and seafoods. Holidays observances might extend through Epiphany with great pies and sweets all the way back until 12th night. Heavy drinking and gifts of liquor marked colonial and frontier celebrations. At wealthy plantations, eggnog was often drunk in bed on Christmas morning. That sounds awesome. I did drink a lot of eggnog this Christmas week. Christmas in the South coincided with the completion of the harvest. With the exception of the cooks and a few essential houseworkers, many, but by all means not all, of the enslaved people were relieved of their labors and given a Saturnalian break for feasting, drinking, and revelry. So they were given 7 days off to just celebrate. Yeah.
Huh.
This celebration followed a custom of the English country gentry, who were the forebears of Anglican Southerners. In England, the local squire hosted a Christmas feast for the extended community that contributed directly or indirectly to the running of the household. So through the Civil War, some plantation owners were often prepared his personal concoction of eggnog in a large punch bowl and then distributed it a cup to each guest and that came to the party and gave some to the enslaved people. So that was an interesting, I was like, oh, I'm sure that was very uncommon, but some people did it, I guess, to try to be nice slave owners. I don't know. Yeah. So in the mid-19th century, cultural changes in America led to a fundamental shift in the nature of Christmas observances, from bawdy and rowdy public frolics to sentimental Victorian domesticity. So like once they were allowed to celebrate Christmas, they just became wild animals for a while and was just getting fucked up all the time. But then, you know, once the Victorians pop in, they make everything stuffy again. Popular literature such as the sketchbook of Geoffrey Crayon in 1819 by Washington Irving and the 1823 poem A Visit from St. Nicholas piqued the interest of the antiquarians in Christmas. Christmas demanded a dinner with family that was special, but within the economical reach of most Americans. Because no single culture Christmas tradition monopolized American foodways, the unifying model for the American Christmas dinner of the mid to late 19th century was supplied by A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Although Dickens did not invent the idea of serving turkey at Christmas, it had always been one of the foods, just like one of the foods at American tables. His extraordinary popular novella was a remarkable case for life intimidating art. Most American food writers in the late 19th centuries in the late 19th and early 20th century, prescribed Christmas dinner as a roast turkey with gravy, mashed potatoes, sage and onion stuffing, and plum pudding, which is from the book. Unlike,
I always thought it was a goose, but it was a turkey.
Yeah, it changes. See, that was the thing. The Cratchits were going to eat a Christmas goose, which was like chinchy, and people who had money got turkeys. So that was the thing.
I see. Yeah.
Unlike the controversial mincemeats, the plain menu described by Dickens largely lacked religious connotations and thus assuaged sectarian differences. Civil War diaries brimmed with descriptions of efforts trying to procure a Christmas turkey. These accounts were matched by mid-19th century Minnesotans' careful records of the prices of Christmas turkeys imported by sleigh from Iowa and Illinois. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Keeping records helps. Those who could not afford turkey, which was a relatively expensive bird in the late 19th century, could follow the advice to the frugal offer by Marion Harlan, the pseudonym of Mary Virginia Hawes Terhune, in Breakfast, Dinner, and Supper, which was the name of her book from 1897, that they enjoy the less expensive boiled goose. The charitable gesture whereby the character Ebenezer Scrooge sends the largest turkey in the poulterer's window to replace the scrawny goose was allegedly emulated by Vermont factory owner on hearing Dickens read A Christmas Carol in Boston in 1867. The man reportedly was so moved that he broke with his Puritan tradition of opening his factory on Christmas Day. So he closed the factory, gave everybody a goose.
Gave real live
gave him a turkey.
Scrooge.
Yeah, he was a real live Scrooge. So the following year, the factory owner instituted the tradition of giving a holiday turkey to every employee. By the 1880s, the concept of a proper Christmas dinner for all led charities to host Christmas dinners for the urban poor, especially for orphans and homeless people, and immigrants cloistered in Ellis Island. All served turkey as the main Americanizing course, a tradition that continues in holiday soup kitchens. So that's when turkey takes place of goose and, you know, whatever fucking udders and chine they were eating. So yeah, pretty fucking crazy. So by the late 19th century, some cookery writers tentatively suggested alternatives to those who wanted something out of the ordinary. Although roast turkey remained a popular centerpiece, turkey farmers such as Horace Vose found that the Christmas market demanded much smaller birds than the Thanksgiving market. Food writers suggested that other meats might supplement or even supplant the American bird. Terhune, the lady we were talking about earlier, writing for a more affluent readership in Town and Home in 1889, recommended the noble saddle of venison in lieu of the provincial turkey that must appear on Thanksgiving.
Wow.
She wrote that the Christmas turkey was required only, quote, if your culinary conscience or the family appetite demand the sacrifice of a bird of plenty, unquote. Other writers suggested steak, meatloaf, veal, or veal curry, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Even the somewhat conservative Good Housekeeping instituted by the late 1920s suggested a crown roast of pork as an alternative to turkey, which you would think that would be expensive, but I guess not, because it's just ribs, right? It's just ribs with the...
Yeah, it's pork.
Yeah, it's just...
I think, especially back then, pork was pretty plentiful.
Yeah. As the importance, although not necessarily the form, of Christmas dinner was being established, newly inventive dishes emulated the secular symbols of the day. Alice Bradley, the principal of Fanny Farmer's cookbooking school, in 1936 described Christmas pear salad. The recipe called for cutting a pear into the shape of a Christmas tree, dressing it with green mayonnaise, decorating it with slivered almonds, with slivered almond candies, and then garnishing it with cubes of cream cheese, presents, and ribbons.
How big was this fucking
That's
pear?
What I'm saying. And then you're painting ribbons on this fucking thing. Other cooks used...
And it's all brown and mushy by the time
gross.
it's done.
It's all oxidized. Well, it's painted green, so... Other cooks used grapefruit salad to mimic wreaths by coating the edges of the grapefruit shells with green tinted sugar and garnishing the fruit cup with maraschino cherry poinsettias. Dude, America went banana bug fuck in the 30s and shit. Like, all the goofy shit they made fucked this country up for so many years.
I mean, it continued into the 80s.
Literally into the late 80s.
Yeah.
Later cookbooks often incorporated red and green foods into Christmas menus. Regional and ethnic influencers tailor Christmas foods to local preferences, so it is impossible to identify a universal American Christmas. In the South, barbecue and chili are added to the Christmas table, and in the Southwest, tamales are served. Italian Americans may eat a 7-course fish dinner on Christmas Eve. French Americans have imported their 13 desserts, said to represent each participant in the Last Supper. New Orleans continues to specialize in yeasted 12th night cakes, and many Japanese Americans serve white rice with turkey. Cookie exchanges, parties for the purpose of swapping homemade cookies have become a tradition. So that changes everybody's idea, and people get ideas from other, it's not stagnant is what I'm saying. One common foods such as mincemeat are now specifically associated with the holidays, but now are kind of not even thought of as, like, people don't make mincemeat pies anymore. Like, it's just kind of fallen by the wayside. It's,
at least not here.
Yeah. And it's sort of thought as just like a quaint thing that you see in English movies, right?
Yeah. And on the Great British Baking Show.
Yes. So although the modern Christmas menu is mutable, there lingers an undercurrent of nostalgia for the ancient feast described by Irving in the chapter in her sketchbook called The Christmas Dinner. The feast at Bracebridge Hall, complete with boar's head and wassail bowl, was knowingly anachronistic even when she wrote about it, and also too expensive to be mimicked at most American tables. Yet, affluent Americans have patterned entertainments after this medieval festival since the mid-19th century. Children's dress up, pagans paying homage to traditional foods. Adults have also indulged in the fantasy. Since 1927, the Awahani Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park in California has held Bracebridge dinners at Christmas. Tickets are assigned by a lottery, serving 15,000 entries for 300 spots. That's crazy.
Whoa.
The photographer Ansel Adams was original pageant meister for the costume thing. And it just showed that people want to have this crazy, big to do. But by today, it's become what it is, which is just like whatever the fuck you want. It's really interesting. Like Christmas, when you think of Thanksgiving, it's turkey. It's all centered around traditional kind of foodstuffs. Like even you and I this year, we were like, we're doing traditional Thanksgiving, right? Christmas is kind of loosey-goosey, to use the goose again.
Well, I feel like Christmas is more about getting the family together and, commercialized capitalist, tradition of giving presents and being in a whole thing and the shopping and the Black Friday and all of that.
Yeah.
That's why I think, if there's no real tradition,
make your own
fucking traditions, dude. If your family are a bunch of fucking a-holes, make your own traditions.
Yeah. You don't need to be with them.
Do a friend's Christmas who also have asshole families and do your own thing.
Without a doubt. And it a lot of times
it doesn't matter.
It's a lot more fun. You don't want to sit there and talk about January 6th all day with your fucking weird uncle, who's a prepper.
Yeah. Yeah. And who's racist and also a little creepy.
Right. And honestly, I kind of like that about Christmas. And I think I'm going to take that into the next year. And think about Christmas as you know what? We could make whatever the fuck we want. Think about how many people for Jewish Americans, they think of Christmas Day as all right, we're going to the movies, we're eating Chinese food, right?
That's what we did.
Right.
Me and Lila ordered $120 worth of Chinese food for just the two of us.
Jesus Christ, where'd you order from?
From Ni Hao.
Oh, okay.
It was good, man. It was we ordered a whole bronzino fish that was fried with their garlic sauce, and it was fucking delicious.
Holy shit.
And they even for delivery, it was beautiful.
I was about to say.
They had it all separate, and the fish was so crispy, and they had it on its stomach.
Oh, okay.
So both sides were crispy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then you dump the sauce on it, and it was absolutely delicious.
And
we got Peking duck.
Nice.
We went all out.
I love
Peking duck. It was good.
Sweet.
Yeah, me too.
But I love the idea of that. Just every year you could do a different nation's cook food. That would be fun, right?
Do you know the Korean tradition?
No.
Christmas tradition? So I don't know the story behind this. I think I tried to Google it once and then got distracted.
Apparently it's a ham and a turkey and kimchi. That's what you
but in America, the Korean tradition. But in Korea, it's fucking KFC fried chicken.
What?
I don't understand what this is, but it's so popular that you have to pre-order, and they do special packages and special boxes that are very Christmas themed, and you have to pre-order it because it's so popular. It sells out.
That's amazing.
And it's Korean fried chicken. I don't understand. And we also have to remember that a lot of the fast food in Korea is a lot more fancy than it is here. It's
totally.
Special there. So,
you know what?
it's very weird.
You know what you just reminded me of?
What?
I didn't get my goddamn Korean fried chicken last night when I went to. We ordered Korean fried chicken. I bet we paid for it. We just never got it.
Oh, it didn't come?
No, we got.
Oh no!
We got the half and half just fried, and then the half with the sauce.
Plain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh no!
Damn.
How did that even happen?
I have no idea. We were just,
there was so much.
There was so much food. We had
always
the pancake and the seafood pancake and the tteokbokki. Did I say that right?
Tteokbokki.
Damn it. Oh, right. Tteokbokki. All right. Oh, you're right. And we had that, and Aaron, our friend, and Leanna, they really like the steamed egg, so they both got extra of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was just, and then the grilled meat starts coming out for the grill, and all the dumplings and the
Yeah. You know that steamed egg custard, the Korean steamed savory custard, is super easy to make at home. Like, it's literally egg scrambled with like water. You can have a vegetarian, or you can add a little bit of salted shrimp as a seasoning and scallions, and that's fucking it. And you can either double boilers or you can steam it on the stovetop, but if you're real lazy, you can fucking microwave that shit and it turns out great. It's like it's kind of like the poor man's version of like the Japanese chawanmushi. I think that's how you, which is very like perfect custard with no bubbles. It's skimmed. No, our version is like the hearty, like home style version where it's like there's texture to it, but it's good. Like it puffs up and then it comes back down and it's still fucking tasty.
I've made chawanmushi once and then I was like, okay, I've made that. I don't ever have to make that again.
I mean, it's friggin' delicious, but
it's good.
It's delicate,
it's
like everything else is with Japanese food. Yeah,
it's fussy.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's sort of like Christmas foods, or traditional Christmas around the world. So, well, Europe and America, basically. And we're back. Did you listen to? We had another futz up of electricity on Jenny's end. Apparently, her electronic equipment hates her. Did you listen to last week's episode where I train crashed the two parts together?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay. I put a fun.
I never re-listened to the episodes.
You should go back.
I was there.
Yeah, you should go back and listen to just the part at the end where I bashed them together with a sound effect of like things falling down steps and a cat screaming.
Nice.
And, it was pretty fun. I didn't want to do the record scratch because when I did that last time, so many people complained about it. They're like, "Oh my god, it like destroyed my ears." So they got a cat falling down the steps or something. Whatever that sound effect was.
Yeah. Maybe that should be tradition now. We fuck up the ending every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do this time too. So yeah, thanks for listening to the Rude Cooking School podcast, everybody. It is the end of the year. I'm going to start introducing some different things in terms of the podcast next year. And once I do that, I will let you know what's going on. Everything's still going to be free. No big deal. But I want to start doing some other things. And I'll let you know next year. I hope you guys have a good new year. Rate and review us if you can, or join the Facebook group. But rating and reviewing actually really helps a lot with getting people to our little podcast. We don't pay for advertising, and any little bit of word of mouth or electronical thumbs up helps us a lot. So for the Rude Cooking School podcast, I'm John Hauser III.
And I'm Jeni Paik. Have a safe and lovely New Year's, and hopefully you didn't have to endure old-ass cake.
Yeah, don't eat old-ass cake. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.